This is our disclaimer up front. We are amateur podcasters simply for entertainment. If we misquote or offend, it was not our purpose to do so. Also, we're recording from our dining room, bedrooms, you name it, back porch. You may hear kids, dogs, or whatever. But thank you and enjoy.
And happy 4th.
Yes, happy 4th of July episode. Today we're going to cover the big blast that happened in Roseburg, Oregon. And I think Elliot has some fun July 4th facts for us.
July 4th facts, trivia, random stuff, knowledge that I found on the worldwide internet.
I go there a lot.
Well, some good stuff. So
I was able to piece together some stuff about the blast through a couple different websites and from stuff I heard around town.
It's always a good spot.
So, yeah.
Around
town, people on the street.
All right.
What do you know about the blast? We're going to start right here with the 1959 blast in Roseburg, Oregon. It was in the early morning hours of August 7th, 1959. A fire at Garrison's Building Supply Company ignited a truck parked on the adjacent street. The truck was carrying a 2-ton load of dynamite and 4.5 tons of ammonium nitrate. The sign on the truck warning of explosives did not catch the notice of the firemen and the police on the scene until it was too late. So here we go. We're going to go with a little, that at least gets us a setup here. We're going to go a little, what happened before the blast, because that's pretty good stuff here. So The night before, George Rutherford, the driver of the truck, had parked in front of the 3-story Garrison Contractors Supply Building where a security guard was supposed to be on duty. There we go. There's our first red flag.
Right.
Somebody was supposed to be on duty. It's around midnight. You know, he's been doing this for 20 plus years.
Right.
Never once had an explosion. He's
gonna go to the bathroom.
He's
get some coffee.
Yeah. He goes, you know what? Nothing ever happens.
All right. This is a boring job.
Nothing
never happens around here.
Yeah, I'll be just fine. Before he locked the truck doors and left for a room at the Umpqua Hotel. His employer, Pacific Powder Company of Tenio, Washington, had been worried about nighttime theft and had told Rutherford not to leave the truck overnight at the explosive storage depot outside Roseburg, as was customary. So they actually told him, not to park where he should. At 1:14 in the morning, Rutherford, awakened by the sirens and flames, rushed towards the truck. The truck's load exploded when he was half a block away, blowing him back and knocking him unconscious. Now we have a man on the street, Mr. Pat Sullivan, a bystander, very near the blast site that night, related the following story. Goes, I was about 20 feet from the intersection on Pine and Oak, and I could see Don DeSouza in his police uniform outlined against the truck. Bill Unrath and somebody else, I don't know who it was standing by the Coke building. There was the fire chief and another fireman were standing down by the fire truck. A real good heavy blaze was going at that time at the Garrisons. As I was running down, I started to see the sides of the truck start to bulge, and I hit the dirt. That was the last time I saw Don DeSouza.
Oh, no.
It's not meant to be funny, but I just took that funny as he said. That's the last time I saw him because the guy was really, blowing the smithereens. Sullivan, he goes, I got hit in the chest with a piece of metal. I started to get up, and a suction of the blast knocked me down again. The piece of metal went through the pack of cigarettes I had just bought and lodged in my chest.
Oh, no. I hope you got a refund.
I hope they got yeah.
Does it say, we'll probably get there, but does it say what happened to the guy whose truck it was eventually?
Oh, yeah. At the time, there was no lights whatsoever. Everything was completely dark except for the electrical cords that were bouncing around on the streets and that had been blown down from the deal. So that was the first quote, but that's just wild to be blown down twice. All right. The resulting explosion, known locally as the blast, sent a ball of flame and a mushroom cloud of smoke over 2,000 feet into the air. A Roseburg policeman described the explosion as looking like an A-bomb.
Oh, my God.
And a pilot flying...
And that is like, sorry to interrupt you, but for them to use like the description, that's like, oh man, that's like what, 6 years after they dropped the atomic bomb?
Yeah,
right?
This is scary.
What year is it?
53? Yeah, this was 59. So
excuse me, 59. Okay, so they dropped the bomb like at 46, I think.
Yeah, 45, 46. But yeah, This is
wow.
You got some World War II vets here.
Right.
So they know what
that's
this
crazy.
looks like.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the next part is a pilot flying over the vicinity at the time actually thought there was a Soviet attack.
Oh my gosh!
Can you imagine you're an
being
airplane,
the pilot?
You see an explosion that big, and you think, well, it's the Soviets. That's
like,
scary.
do you just like see how much fuel you have left in the tank and like how far can I take this plane? I'm getting the hell out of here.
I saw too much.
And there's no like cell phones. You can't be like
can't check with anybody.
Right.
Yeah. Tower, it looks like the Soviets are attacking.
Tower, it looks like what we thought was going to happen is happening.
The Roseburg explosion attracted national attention and resulted in stricter explosive transport safety regulations and enforcements, obviously.
Makes sense.
The blast killed 14 people
My gosh.
and injured over 120 others. Among the dead were a fireman, policeman, residents of nearby apartment buildings, including a 4-year-old girl, and several passerbys and onlookers. Because they were all there to watch the fire when it started.
Right.
Then it caught the truck on fire across the street. So everyone was like an onlooker watching the fire. Garrison's died.
Right. People were showing up, not knowing what's happening, and then there's still more fires and explosions going on, and then sadly it injures and kills more people.
So wild. Some people were blown through windows, and one guest at the Umpqua Hotel was hurled through his room's closed door and into the corridor.
Dude, could you imagine? You're just like watching TV in 1959. I don't know what's on in 1959. The Honeymooners.
It's I Love Lucy. So
I Love Lucy. And you just like sat down and cracked like a Miller Lite, whatever, 1959, and you get blasted through it. And you're like, what in the? Your first instinct's probably like the plumbing.
What would be your first thing? You're just laying in your bed. I say no. You're you're in the corridor. You're through the
ringing.
Oh yeah.
You know?
There's questions.
In 1959, they probably didn't have any restrictions on that good, like, Tylenol and ibuprofen, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, it's, well, you could drink a Coca-Cola, had cocaine back then, so yeah, it might have been okay.
Went to the cover and I was like, oh, time to take my headache medicine.
Let's see, a number of buildings were leveled, and many others within the 30-block disaster area had to be demolished because of structural damage. The blast broke windows up to 7 miles away, and was reportedly heard as far away as Eugene.
From Eugene?
From Eugene, Oregon. It's about an hour drive in today's world. Isn't that wild? Which, that is my favorite part, too, is I went to the guy in Eugene at like 1 o'clock in the morning, sitting on his porch.
All right.
What the heck was that?
Fart?
Yes, yeah. One of the cows blew up in the field.
Right.
Oh, that was a weird noise.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, there's not 11 o'clock news. You don't find out till, what, the paper?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you find in 1959? It's word of mouth?
Yeah, it'd have to
I guess the radio, right? I guess you probably find
damaged, yeah. There's so many questions.
Yeah, if it's not damaged.
The blast, which left a crater 20 feet deep and over 50 feet in diameter.
Oh my God.
Blocks. Contractors later reported that newer pumice block structures, those made of concrete, fared worse than older brick buildings. So anything that was older and built with brick actually lasted a little bit better.
Oh. Don't make them like they used to.
This part is a little morbid. For 2 weeks, over 100 Oregon National Guard troops patrolled the blast area, called Ground Zero. So the coroner and other investigators could recover human remains and inspect structural damage. Now, I do know there are reports that when I say recover remains, there was reports of them having to go into trees to find pieces of people and animals. And there was one of a goat that was real high up in the tree, and they didn't have a ladder to get it down, so they had to cut down the tree to get the dead goat that was so high up there.
Oh, I'm sure 1959, that's dinner.
That's, it was barbecue by then, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you had to smell it.
And it's on a tree. You got skewers. That blast did the work for you.
Replacement of almost all the windows in downtown commercial buildings were necessary after the blast. Transportation routes through Roseburg were also altered for almost over a year. The Oak Street Bridge received considerable damage from the blast, putting added pressure on the alternate north and southbound routes of Stevens Street, which is Highway 99 today. In December of 1959, to reduce traffic, the Roseburg Planning Commission proposed that Pine Street would support southbound traffic through the city. So that's when it became 2 lanes. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't do for such a big catastrophe, a lot of people lost their lives and injured. I'm surprised they don't do something like a memorial thing, even like today.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they do, but I haven't heard anything like some story, because they have the plaque down there.
They have the plaque down there. There's a rock that's right in front of the car dealership.
It used to be Honda. It used to be Roseburg Honda, and now I think it's an empty building.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy, but...
When there's just a rock there with the plaque saying, hey, there's a blast here.
Right, and 1959 is not like it was 100 years ago.
Yeah.
There's still people that live in Roseburg that were young enough to recount what happened that day.
That's crazy. I imagine everyone in the town woke up with that explosion.
Right.
They're probably thinking it was an earthquake or something.
Right. Do you think there was like somebody like in like Salem that like spent the night and like was supposed to have business with that building the next day, and they like showed up and they're like, what happened? Nobody wants to like tell them.
Yeah.
There's no explanation.
This guy's like dream job was to work down there.
You know, right? An interview.
Yeah, interviewed everything, and next thing you know, the whole town's gone.
Right. The night before, he's like prepping for his interview. You know, he's getting a new suit and tie.
Poor guy.
Taking time. You know.
That's the middle industry I want to talk about. You know, like Gil from The Simpsons.
Right.
Guy, this is my big break.
Right. Well, I always wondered, like a little off topic, but I always wondered, and I think I think I've asked this before, but throughout history and like the important like moments in history, like the Emancipation Proclamation, like, or just the Boston Tea Party, whatever, like the famous moments in history, whenever. Like, I just imagine there's at least like one guy or girl that showed up after the fact because they went and got like a sandwich or they had to use the bathroom, and people are clapping like there's just something happened, and they show up and they have to turn to their buddy and you're like, what did I miss? Right.
I love that. I think there's like a TV show.
There has to be.
It's called Link to History or something, you know?
Right.
Like a guy who shows up at the Gettysburg Address, like right after.
Yes, the Gettysburg Address, right.
Oh, the guy's late at the play was where Lincoln's assassinated.
Right.
He shows up.
Right. Wilkes Booth is on the stage.
Yeah, I goes, what did I miss?
Right. He was like late to getting his horse and carriage. Yeah. And it's just utter chaos, and he's just like walking in with like a glass of like champagne or something. He's like, so show's over.
Whoops. And his family just always gives him a hard time.
Really?
Well, you could have been there when Lincoln was killed. But,
Right. If you came on time, if you called the horse cab on time, you would have been here.
So wild.
You know, that's what I don't know. I imagine.
So the segue again, one of my favorite stories is about Seth MacFarlane. And he was supposed to be on one of the planes it was either like Flight 93 or one of the ones that crashed in the towers, and he missed his flight.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be on one of those flights. Isn't that crazy? Talk about history, you know?
Yeah, I heard that's similar to that. Also, John Thompson was a basketball coach at Georgetown University, and he was going to fly out of New York, I believe. No, he was going to fly out of New York. He was going to travel to LA, and he wanted to fly out that day, and they convinced him, you know, why don't we do the interview tomorrow or something like that? Like the person he was working with, like, no, let's just push it out tomorrow. And then he didn't really realize it until the next day. His PR person was like, John, look at your original itinerary. You were supposed to fly out on that plane.
That's
like
crazy.
You were supposed to be on that plane. Like, it's just crazy how things intervene that way. But
yeah, just the weird timing and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. That's pretty much the blast there. The last one was there's a lawsuit that was brought to light for Pacific Powder's poor safety record, but neither the company nor Rutherford were found liable. After the Roseburg blast, federal regulations and state laws would more tightly regulate both public and private carriers of explosives.
I wonder how long that took them to clean all that up and like move on.
The cool part about this is they do talk about how Roseburg was real strong. There's a lot of volunteers that actually helped pick up a lot of stuff. It took several weeks, months to get it all back to normal, get everything built up. But Roseburg was really got a lot of positivity and from how they reacted to it. You know,
I wonder if they like closed schools and like businesses for like a couple days or something like that.
I would hope so. Yeah, that's a good question.
Think.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah, just get her in town. Back then.
Right.
Wow. But anyways, yeah, that's the big blast. That's something that happened here in Roseburg, and yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We were talking about moments in history. I thought I always kind of like ponder if you could pick any moment, not like moment in history, but if you could pick like any period in history, where would you go?
Any period in history? Is it to witness an event or
just wherever?
Oh man,
to do whatever, to see whoever, to talk to whoever, to like OK Corral, to see like the gunfight, to to be like at the the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Speaking of July 4th,
Oh yeah, see that would be pretty cool. I guess here's the funny part about it is I'm really funny about smells, and people were not well bathed back then. So like, part of me is like, like, hey Mark, would you like to go back to the old times? Like, not really.
No, you're okay. Whenever soap got invented.
I think for me, I would actually probably go to like medieval Europe.
I can't imagine they smelled very good.
They didn't smell good either. And my fear is I would be, if I show up, I'm a wizard or I'm a witch.
I was going to say Viking.
Viking, that would scare some people. Hey, we're supposed to get this far south.
Wizard 2, Viking 1.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know about witch.
Yeah. I think I'd go.
Medieval's kind of cool.
Yeah, it would be
kind of interesting to see, what it was really, really like.
Yeah.
Like maybe like during like the Dark Ages.
Yeah. Just to see. I don't know. I don't think I'd like it. The food wouldn't be up to par with me.
Avoid the plague.
Yeah, avoid the plague. I heard that's a 0 out of 5 stars. Would not do it again.
Kind of, yeah.
How about you?
I always like westerns, so I always kind of would like the idea of being part of like seeing what the United States was like once it expanded west. Seeing like the old the mining towns and like Arizona and like California. I think it would be really cool to experience that.
I can see that.
Yeah,
no, absolutely.
Or post like World War II. How America, dealing with so much like angst of like World War II. There's probably so much feeling of like joyful coming out of that. It would be kind of interesting. And then
it was really prosperous.
The technology too during like the 1950s and 60s. Everything started becoming, the vacuum cleaner and like the washing machine, the refrigerator, everything started evolving more into like households. I think that would be interesting to be part of.
So would you go back and invest? Would you do like a monetary?
I was just thinking that. Yeah. See, if we were going to go like Back to the Future 2 style, definitely would probably. It would be hard not to be like, let me put however much money I have into Apple or Microsoft.
See,
how could you not?
How could you not? Right now, Jeff Bezos, I just
Amazon's a great one. Google.
Make sure he wasn't bullied growing up.
Right.
Don't forget your buddy Mark.
Right. Or would you try to beat like Yahoo or like AOL to the punch?
No, I just want to piggyback. People make money off of it,
that's smart.
I don't need my name out there.
Right.
I just want to be a silent contributor and get paid for it.
Yeah.
It's a good question, though. It's a very good, thought-provoking question.
Right. I'm sure everyone probably has different answers, but...
There's one guy, there's always a story I heard that was like the luckiest guy in history, and this guy the timing's nuts.
Right. Well, I mean, talk timing, like Malcolm Gladwell has that great book, 10,000 Hours.
So good.
That a lot of those, the Microsoft guys, the Apple guys, they were smart. They were certainly, very good at what they did, but they also were right place, right time, because when they started to learn how to use computers, it was right before anyone else had a personal computer, and then they had all those hours to develop and learn the background of how computers operate and work, and then they struck right place, right time, and just when everyone was needing some more of that technology in their life, and Microsoft and Apple and the Apple II computer, and it's just kind of interesting how they were right place, right time. Because 10 years later, we probably wouldn't know who Steve Jobs and Steve Ballmer and Bill Gates and somebody else would have developed that technology. Looking at colonizing like Mars, and I mean that's science fiction 30 years ago, but who knows in 30 years from now, the more the final frontier. Elon Musk, he's bound to be the first person to really, colonize and figure that out, I'm sure. But
no, absolutely. It's people who just kind of think differently and think outside the box. Right. It happen, yeah.
Well, speaking of thinking about differently, our founding fathers, they thought about things differently. And God bless George Washington and our founding fathers. But did you know July 4th wasn't the actual day we decided we wanted to break away from Britain? Did you know that?
No, go on.
I bet you did know that.
I love it.
July 2nd is when Congress voted in favor of the Declaration of Independence. July 2nd. And I read today that John Adams, who won in the Founding Fathers, he was so pissed off about not having July 2nd as the actual anniversary of the independence. He turned down invitations to July 4th parties. Like, could you imagine inviting John Adams? And he was like, well, he has to write you in a feather pen, in a Quilton feather pen. So it takes him a while to think about how he's going to turn down that RSVP.
You missed out on some good barbecue.
Right.
And some good fireworks.
Some good pig roasting and whatever they ate in 1788, probably quail, 1776. Yep. I imagine probably.
Is there a reason for the delay, for the 2-day delay? Just maybe get around to it.
They had to get approval from the Continental Congress. So on July 4th is when they adopted and approved it. So it took them a couple days to present it in front of, right? So and then it took them a whole month later until August 2nd is when they actually got all the signers to sign it.
Well, that makes sense. You got town,
56 signers, right? Yeah. And did you know a woman's signature appeared on some copies of the Declaration of Independence?
Really?
Though I don't know.
What?
I don't know. That part is a mystery.
Abigail Adams?
Some of the wives, right.
Yeah. She sneaks out inside.
Right. Or maybe it was like somebody... There had to have been joggers back in 1776, right? Yeah. Exercise people. Yeah. It's probably somebody was like running by and like, oh, hey, what are those guys doing? And when they're not paying attention, boom, she whips out like one of those cool feather pens, boom, signing it. It looks important. All these guys are signing it. I'm signing it. No, it says that though she was not an official signer. Oh, it does say her name. I should have just kept reading on. Mary Catherine Goddard, who was commissioned by Congress to print copies of the important document. She added her name below the original signature. So she was like, right. She was like, you know what? I am important enough to sign this document. I am going to sign it. Mary Catherine Goddard is...
I love it. She's looking in the mirror. She's like...
That's your next tattoo.
Yes, Mary Catherine Goddard. Gosh darn it, I'm good enough. You know?
Though it's not clear why she included her name, Catherine was a well-known patriot and one of the first women publishers and postmasters in the country.
That's
which is kind of cool. So it's not like, so take back the jogging thing. Yeah. It's not like she was, nobody of importance at the time. She was like, I love this country. Yeah. I'm putting my name on this.
Oh, yeah. She was a patriot. Yeah.
But it's not on every single copy. It just appears. So I don't know how that works. So it's not on the original one. So they must have had.
The limited.
I think I've heard that before. Yeah. The luxury versions. I've heard that before. There's other copies, right?
I've heard that too. I heard isn't there some guy found one?
If you say 13.
No. There was a guy that I thought he found a copy
behind a photo or something, or behind a picture.
In Missouri or something, in a random spot in Kansas. He found one.
The movie National Treasure was probably rolled up in a plastic wrap, looking like it was a fake one, and somebody was like, "I'll just sell it for $250. Yeah, I don't need this anymore." Yeah, on July 4th, 1776, the newly independent U.S. only had a population of only 2.5 million people, which is not that many. It's not that many people.
How many people are usually in line in front of me at Safeway?
Safeway is always busy. Calvin Coolidge was the only president born on the 4th of July.
That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And one of the things I don't have here, what we've talked about before, is Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. They hated each other.
Yes.
They hated each other probably because disagreements over the 4th of July defuncal. But they both died on July 4th.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. For a guy that hated July 4th, of course he's going to die on July 4th. Right. Right.
That's wild.
Every 4th of July, the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia is tapped. It's not actually rung. It's tapped 13 times in honor of the original 13 colonies. That's cool. I read they invite relatives of the original signers, the original founding fathers. They have the relatives of. They come and they ring the Liberty Bell. Have you ever been to Philadelphia?
No, I've never been.
It's pretty freaking cool. I mean, for history nerds, being that close to the Liberty Bell, and like seeing the crack.
Oh wow.
Now we should have talked about some of that because I don't have the history of why it cracked. Okay, well my guess is it's probably two schmucks like us. They say Mark and Eliav, hey, can you guys carry this from Liberty Hall? Take it over the Ben's house.
Yeah.
Take it over the Ben's house.
Crack it, whatever you do.
Listen, you got to lift with your legs, not your back, right? So they lift it, of course, with their back. They take 4 steps out the Continental, the Town Hall. I'd probably say I slipped, fell. I don't know. What do you tell George Washington? Oh, man. I mean, what do you say? Thomas Jefferson's like, not one of mine.
In February 1846, when it was rung on President's Day, celebrated on Washington's birthday, and then stopped ringing because of damage from the major crack. So
on his birthday?
Yeah, that's awkward.
Oh, man. He's probably trying to cut the cake, and they're like, happy birthday, George, and then they ring.
Oh, yeah, and then you get the crack, and it's like, ooh.
I'm going home, Martha.
I love the Google questions. It says, why was the Liberty Bell too brittle? So someone judged it.
Why was it too brittle?
Then I love the second one says, can you touch the Liberty Bell? And I love how people like to touch things.
Right.
I just wish to touch it.
Right. They'd put a sign up. No more, too many scuff marks. It's a little kid.
I mean, I think everyone knows this, but I didn't know this when I was growing up. Is that the Babe Ruth candy bar? I thought it was named after the baseball player. No, it's named after Betsy Ross, who did the flag, but her nickname is Babe Ruth.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
so I love Babe Ruth.
Is that funny? And so this whole time, I thought the candy bar was named after the baseball player.
Babe Ruth?
Yeah, it was her nickname. So after Betsy Ross. Isn't that wild?
Doesn't sound like her name at all.
Yeah. So that's my one.
Maybe not the Babe part, but like,
I bet the candy bar.
Ross.
I wasn't there.
It's okay. You don't have to look that one up.
I'm not looking it up.
4th of July sales they're a more recent thing on the 4th of July. Before the Civil War, it was unpatriotic to keep businesses open on Independence Day. Things changed afterward when restaurants and stores started selling red, white, and blue merchandise.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
All until the Civil War to realize, hey, we can actually make some money off of patriotic merchandise.
That's America. If there's a way to make money,
right.
Yeah.
I'm in. Well, it took them the Civil War to do that. Among the other federal U.S. holidays, the 4th of July generates the highest beer sales. God bless America. Because I
of course. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
This is from the National Beer Wholesalers Association reported that Memorial Day and Labor Day are consecutively the next in highest beer sales behind Independence Day. Which is kind of interesting.
That's pretty good. Okay.
I think it's probably because it's summertime.
Yeah.
People are feeling like barbecue-y.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Want to celebrate with family and friends, go out and get some beer.
Yep, that makes sense.
I'm happy to say I contribute to that statistic.
Does your family do fireworks? Do you guys buy fireworks and set stuff off?
Do we ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys go to like parking lots and do like the fireworks?
We did when the kids were younger and it was more dangerous, but now as we're older and we just know the kids have all grown up, moved on, so the wild's not there. Me and my wife do the sparklers and that fun. Yeah. Woo! Yeah.
When our kids are moved out, I can't imagine Chelsea and I be like, hey, you want to go get some fireworks?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. But speaking of fireworks, here's why we set off fireworks. At the first National Independence Celebration in Philadelphia in 1777, 13 cannons were fired, 1 round for each state of the Union. Bells were rung and the fireworks were set off. This is according to the Smithsonian. There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
And then each year, Americans light about 200 million pounds of fireworks. 200 million pounds of fireworks we light off country.
And we wonder why there's a big blast in Roseburg.
200 million. And most of them are imported from
China or Mexico? Yeah, China.
China. We import from China $247 million of worth of. That is a lot of money, man. $247 million worth of fireworks.
That just exploded.
200 million pounds of fireworks.
The Chinese are like, yeah, let them blow up their country.
Right.
They're paying us to send them bombs.
I wanna look up later how many fingers get lost each year from lighting off fireworks. We like to talk about food every now and again, right? So I left the food ones from last because I love food. Barbecue is also big on Independence Day. Here's another hot dog one. Okay, so apparently we always lead the hot dogs.
Hot dogs in every podcast.
Apparently we lead.
That's funny because that's what we're making.
Right.
Yeah.
So barbecue is also big on Independence Day. Approximately 150 million hot dogs and 700 million pounds of chicken. 700 million pounds of chicken are consumed on this day. 700 million pounds of chicken. That's so much chicken.
So much chicken in a hot dog.
Okay, this one's kind of crazy.
These poor animals.
If laid out horizontally, the hot dogs would stretch from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles over 50 times.
That's not right. How are we going through animals?
Over 5 times. Sorry, not 50. I read that wrong. I read the internet wrong.
1 time's enough.
Right.
But 5 times.
That's a lot of. If laid out horizontally, the hot dogs would stretch from Washington, D.C. to L.A. over 5 times.
That's ridiculous.
That is from a trade association and part of the American Meat Institution. The National Hot Dog and Sausage Council released. Okay, when I read that, first of all, who works on the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council?
I love it. That's
Oscar Mayer?
That's Oscar, yeah.
Is he the CEO?
It's somebody
who.
That's a great name.
Okay, I get the American Meat Institute. Yeah, that sounds legit. But when you got a little hyphen and you go to the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council,
so
it sounds fake.
Was 2 different councils at one point? There was
right.
a Sausage Council and a Hot Dog. Like, hey, look, we have the same interest.
Right.
Let's combine.
The American Meat Institute couldn't handle the statistics based off of the other councils, so they needed to bring in the actual Hot Dog and Sausage Council too. There's a lot of pie charts.
We started laying out hot dogs. All right, started in Washington, D.C. and how far west we can get.
How do you know that statistic?
That's some intern.
I don't know what's
That's how many miles, how many,
Right, I don't know what's more concerning or mind-boggling.
150 million hot dogs stretched over 5 times, or the 700 million pounds of chicken.
That's a lot of chicken, man.
I prefer burger. Can I just say that?
I'm surprised.
Right? Over chicken.
That's how it's raised, yeah.
Right. Hot dogs, hamburgers. I had a hot dog and hamburger for dinner tonight.
That's funny.
Multiple. Do you ever watch this? This kind of grosses me.
Hot wings?
No. The hot dog eating competition. Do you ever watch that?
It's usually some Japanese guy who just
and Joey Chestnut.
Yes.
So the hot dog eating contest is a tradition since 1972. Coney Island's hot dog haven, Nathan Famous, which is a good hot dog, has been marking independence with a hot dog eating contest that's now become so big that it's broadcast on ESPN. I'll watch it.
Love it.
I'm not going to lie. The reigning champ is my man Joey Chestnut. Holds the record for most hot dogs. Guess how much? Did you cheat?
No.
Guess how much? Just
63?
Guess.
I don't know. How many hot dogs and what's the time frame here?
It's an hour.
In an hour?
No. So I don't know how long. It's just kidding. No, isn't it like 5 minutes? I'll tell you. It's 75.
75?
Yeah, I think it's like 3 minutes.
That's a lot of hot dogs.
Maybe it's like 3 or 5. It's not very long. But 75.
At what
He's shoving them, like dipping water. I listened to an interview from once. He eats like a piece of fish the night before just to like get something in his stomach, so like the next morning he's not like so hungry, because I think something with your stomach, if you don't eat, like doesn't your stomach shrink or something? I don't know. I don't have that problem. I don't know.
I put away some chicken nuggets once, I feel like my own 20 piece.
Well,
that wasn't. I just like, where do you go in your life? You realize, I can eat a lot of hot dogs pretty quick.
I don't know how because he's been doing that a long time.
That's what.
Joey Chestnut. He's from New Jersey. Is he? New Jersey, New York. He's from the tri-state. He's from that area, and he's been doing that a long time. Yeah, but he went up against I don't know the guy's name, but he's like from China or Japan. But they're like rivals.
Oh, wow.
And of course, they're not big guys.
Yeah.
They're not, which is kind of amazing. You would think they would be bigger guys. Throwing that hot, they were just little guys.
I want to see. Like when they their entourages meet,
oh, dude, they come out like in boxing.
Yeah.
You'll have to watch it this 4th of July.
That's amazing.
You'll have to watch it.
Someone throws a cold weenie from nowhere.
If you can stand.
In the face.
I mean, it's and they win a decent amount of money, and I'm sure all the hot dogs they can eat.
I forgot. I want to say like in Florida, but it was like there's like 180 different types of pies you can try from. I'm like, hello.
Yes, I would not know a word. I probably would start with the classics.
Yeah.
My favorite apple. You get the berries in there, cherry, and then I would start seeing what the local, because it's got to be like the local fruits, because Oregon's got the Marionberry.
Yep.
So I'm sure like wherever Florida or like down south somewhere, I'm sure there's like the delicious.
Oh man, that would be nuts. Yeah.
Somebody lives across the street. There's like an old lady makes delicious pies.
Oh yeah.
I would love to go.
There is a correction. I was wrong. I don't know where I got the Betsy Ross thing. We actually think it was named after Grover Cleveland's daughter, Ruth.
Well, that is
Ruth Cleveland.
Off.
Yes, way off. It's one of those things that I was told once, and so I believed it.
You just went with it.
I went with
Betsy Ross. You told everyone you know.
Told everyone I know.
Nickname is Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth.
Really?
The best part is I know where I got it from. I got it from my dad. Okay, and my dad was, and to this day I know he just made stuff up on the spot. If he didn't know something. Yeah, that's true. You can tell me things, and I've repeated it.
Right. I think we all do that, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna keep repeating it.
Sounds better.
I'm just gonna keep spreading that lie. No one's gonna look it up.
I did find
yes
some more festivals. Talking about 4th of July festivals. In this town in Hannibal, Missouri.
Okay.
It's called Hannibal, Missouri.
Hannibal, Missouri. All right. Okay. They know like to eat.
Before I get to like the main point here, they actually have a race. It's a 5, 10, 15K race, and it's called Hannibal the Cannibal Race. And it has nothing to do about Silence of the Lambs. It's just the race is supposed to like eat you up or something like that, and it's called Hannibal the Cannibal Race. I thought
that's pretty good. Okay,
kind of interesting.
Good marketing,
right? But the whole event that take place over this weekend in Hannibal, Missouri, is based around Tom Sawyer. Especially, evidently, and especially the way he was able to, in the stories, he was able to con like his friends into like painting a fence for him. They do fence painting contests. They do frog jumping contests.
Oh wow!
And they spend the weekend paying tribute to Tom Sawyer in Hannibal, Missouri. And then there's a Hannibal Cannibal Race. It sounds like a heck of a good time.
Something to do.
If you don't want to do fence paint, I keep thinking it's face painting, but it's fence painting because face painting makes more sense. How do you get?
That's amazing.
I mean, I guess if you need your fence painted, go to Hannibal, Missouri.
I was gonna say, someone puts their fence, I'm like, I'll just wait till the festival.
Right. The United States is not the only country to celebrate Independence Day. I think we know France is one of them. But the other one I found out is in Denmark. A little town in Denmark started this celebration in 1912. It was originally called Emigrant Meeting, but today they call it, it's the town of its rebuild celebration. I guess it's a huge party. I looked it up. It's basically where Danish and American friends get together and they just have a huge party celebrating the U.S. independence.
Wow.
I think we should book a trip.
That would be fun, yes.
I've always wanted to go to Denmark.
Oh, yeah, I'd go to Denmark for sure.
Denmark would be amazing. I've always wanted to go to like Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland.
Yes.
Like, I think that would be Iceland.
Yes.
Why not?
I want to see it all.
And Iceland, is that one of the countries that's like dark for like...
I thought it was one big volcano or something like that. There's something weird about that place.
I feel like Iceland's like dark for like 24-hour periods. Like it's like dark all the time. Because where it's located at.
They drink a lot of beer there.
They drink a lot of beer, and I hear they make like there's like a specialty liquor you can only buy like in Iceland. It's like a type of like liqueur.
Huh.
I don't know. Could just be making that up like Babe Ruth.
Like Babe Ruth.
This one, not as exciting, but it's a Mr. and Mrs. Muscle Beach down in Venice Beach.
It makes sense.
A lot of active, muscly, fit, good-looking people go down there and they compete at Venice Beach. I've never been. You've been to Venice Beach?
One time when I was a young kid, I believe my parents took us there, but I don't remember. It wasn't for the festival, I'll tell you that.
It wasn't for Mr. and Mrs. Muscle Beach?
The opposite.
I looked it up. It actually looks kind of cool. I hear that's pretty like popular thing in Venice Beach.
Cool.
Like they have like You know, like some places they have like roller coasters. You know, like Atlantic City, like everyone, like certain beaches have like certain themes. I guess Venice Beach is like there's a bunch of like workout equipment just on the beach. You
Just on the beach, just go work out.
I prefer the go get something to eat.
Yeah.
Did you know that 4th of July is also National Country Music Day? I don't like country music.
All right, then.
Since I don't like it, it's okay.
Yeah.
But apparently that's celebrated in Nashville.
Wow.
It's like one of the many places that they celebrate country music. But I guess 4th of July is, I guess, America, country music day.
Yeah, why not? That's what I was raised on.
Goes with it.
I was raised on country music.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And then 4th of July, also on the East Coast, it's a huge chowder fest.
Chowder.
Yeah, that's how they say it. Chowder.
Chowder. Yeah.
Chowder, especially when it's a chowder fest. Yeah. White clam chowder. You're not a seafoodie.
See,
right?
I'm not a seafood eater, but I love a corn chowder. I'm in all day.
Corn chowder.
Yeah, sold.
I'm sure you can probably find at the Chowder Fest.
Accommodating.
Yeah, it doesn't say like any specific town. It basically is like East Coast.
The East Coast, everyone's got the chowder
makes the
out.
famous East Coast is famous for chowder.
I love it.
You know, I like.
Really cool.
I like seafood's not my favorite, but I like it. I'll eat it. You know, fried, anything really fried.
Yeah, fried.
I'm not going to complain. But anyway, happy 4th.
Yes, happy 4th of July.
I think we'll enjoy the coast this weekend, get out of the heat, the sun.
Get away from the sun.
You know, we'll go enjoy the beach. And speaking of seafood, I'm sure we'll find plenty over there.
There you go.
I hope you have a good 4th and everything,
Yeah. Well, happy 4th, man.
All right, you too.
All right.